So over the weekend, some of you know I listen to YouTube and I listen to training tapes and things like that. And I was reminded, actually there's a guy in the insurance industry, and it just happened to click on the YouTube tape, and it's a guy that pretty current, makes about $300,000, $350,000 in the business, and it was like I was listening to a Mike Ferry tape. You know, it was what we do, they do. It's fascinating. We think that maybe we're the ones that do that kind of work, and that we prospect, and that we do follow up, and that we track our numbers, et cetera, et cetera. But he was talking about, it reminded me of the word, write down the word recipe. This was really, I'd heard this concept 20 years ago, and I haven't talked about it recently, and I really had an opportunity to think about it Saturday, Sunday, and then most of this morning. And I just wrote down a few notes. I usually write out my talk, but I didn't do that in this case. I was really coming from the heart more than thinking it through as a very point by point. But here's the question. If you have a combination lock, okay? Everybody think in terms of a combination lock. And you turn the combination, let's say you know what it is, and you turn the combination, let's say it's 3, and it's 2, and then it's 4. You go one this way, one this way, one this way. And then if you've done it the right way, in the right sequence, because it has to be the right sequence, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Because if you have the right numbers, but you don't put them in the right sequence, will the lock open or no?
No.
The lock doesn't open, but we have the numbers. The numbers are 3, 2, 7. But if I put them in as 2, 3, 7, it's not going to open, correct?
No. Yes.
So it has to be a formula. It has to be, it'll be a recipe for success. If you do it this way, you will get the result you need. The combination, you put the combination in right, and the lock opens, and you can enter what's going on. Everybody with me on this?
Yes.
Okay, so how many of you, male or female, cook or do any kind of cooking at all? Okay? All right. So when you cook and you're looking to get, let's say your grandmother or somebody in your family passed down this really great recipe for cookies, okay? So just cookies, you remember eating those cookies, her making them for you, and they always tasted the same, and when you came home from school, they always were made, and they tasted terrific, and she passed the recipe down to you, and you made the recipe, and you know, every time you made the cookie, a little tear in your eye, because it reminded you of her of you. That make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, so when you get a recipe and you put it together the same way, it tastes the same way, it comes out the same way, and the number of cookies, let's say the recipe calls for, you're going to get 48 great chocolate chip cookies, you get 48 great chocolate chip cookies. What if you don't have butter one day and you only have margarine? Same recipe, but instead of using certain kind of butter that was called for in the recipe, you used margarine. Does it sometimes not come out quite the same? Does it sometimes not taste the same way?
Yes.
There's a difference. Not dramatic, but there's a little bit of a difference. So I started thinking about this, and I was thinking, okay, we have great chefs. We have Bobby Flay, we have Wolfgang Puck, I wrote down we have Gordon Ramsay, Mario Batali, Emeril Lagasse. These are all guys and gals that have these amazing restaurants and do these amazing things. But they're really not cooking. You know, some of these guys, Wolfgang's, I think in Beverly Hills, has got 3 or 4 restaurants. He's certainly not in every restaurant cooking the same recipe for everyone, right?
Right.
But every day, someone in his restaurant is cooking up a recipe and delivering it to a client. Now, one of the great signatures of a great restaurant is that it tastes the same when I go back the second and third time, right? Mm-hmm. There's a restaurant, Bobby Flay has a restaurant in Las Vegas. It's called Mesa Grill. It's in Caesar's Palace. It's been there for 20 years now, okay? My wife and I had been going to this restaurant. We used to go to Las Vegas to go to this restaurant. And they changed the recipe on the queso fundido once. Let me tell you, it was like a riot in this place. It was an absolute riot, because we went because of the queso fundido and the way the margaritas were mixed. That's why we went there. And we go back this one time, and it's off. And it's off, and it doesn't taste the same, and it's really messing with all the things that are going on. So the recipe had changed. Do you guys get what I'm saying here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it okay? So, what do Bobby Flay, Wolfgang Puck, Gordon Ramsay, Mario Batali, and Emeril Lagasse, bless you, have in common?
They know the good recipes.
Well, they know the system, they know good recipe. Consistency of what?
The recipe.
Of the formula, of the recipe. Get it? The consistency of the recipe. We know other people that are like that in our business. Neil Weichel, Karen Bernardi. I wrote down Mark and Al. By the way, just a side note, Mark and Al got a little off track. You know, they were doing $1.3 million to $1.8 million for years. They got a little off track, fell down to $1 million, and did that for 2 or 3 years. And then right now, through March, so we don't know April's numbers for them yet, they're at 750,000 gross closed and pending, and number 4 in the country. Because what did they do? They got back to their core business. They got off the core business and got back to the core business. They have, so Neil Weichel, Karen Bernardi, Mark and Al, Tony Smith, Hal Swayze, Valerie Carl, what do they all have in common?
They follow the recipe.
They follow the recipe. You see, you have a recipe. And you have people that have gone before you that have cooked up this recipe time and time and time again. And then when you follow the recipe, you end up with this results. It's when we change the recipe is when we don't get the same results, and then we get mad at what? The system. We get mad at the system. System doesn't work. It's not that you didn't work. It's not that you didn't do what you were supposed to do. It's that we started messing with the system. Do you guys get what I'm talking about here?
Yes.
Is this making sense?
Yes.
That's what's happening. So, number of hours prospecting, number of contacts made, what to say and how to say it, learning the scripts and dialogues at the highest level that you possibly can. And when you duplicate that, it comes out the same. But here's what we do. Okay, I'm going to prospect today. My goal today is 30 contacts. I do 30 contacts for 240 days. 30 times 240 is 720 contacts, 7,200 contacts. 7,200 contacts over 12-month period of time, 240 days, should give me this result if I say what I'm supposed to say when I'm supposed to say it over this period of time. And I'll make somewhere between $175,000 and $375,000 a year, depending on the marketplace, et cetera, et cetera. But what happens, you do it on Monday. Monday you did it. When Tuesday comes, what happens? We start messing with the system. We start messing with the recipe. Okay? Instead of putting in 1 tablespoon of baking soda. We didn't have quite as much baking soda today, so we put in a half a tablespoon. Big deal! A half a tablespoon of baking soda versus 1 tablespoon of baking soda. How could that change it? Okay, 3 hours of prospecting to 2.5. Not a big deal. Over 240 days, could it be a problem?
Yep.
Compound effect.
Compound effect. Would you follow Bobby Flay's recipe for queso fundido if you happen to like his queso fundido?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. And if you followed it, there's a high likelihood you will get the results you're looking for and enjoy this really good queso fundido. You really would. Same rule then basically applies. If you followed what Neil Weichel, Karen Bernardi, Tony Smith, Hal Swayze, Valerie Caro did on a regular basis, the system that we teach you on a regular basis, the atmosphere we help provide you on a regular basis, should you get similar results as them, yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely. So why don't we do it? Help me.
Get complacent.
We're complacent, okay? Why else?
Life gets in the way.
Life gets in the way, okay?
Repetitious boredom.
Repetitious boredom, okay?
Because it tastes okay with margarine.
Because it tastes okay with margarine. Okay. Okay, I'm having trouble arguing with that.
Just okay.
Because we don't want the other taste bad enough.
Yes, yes.
Okay, we don't want, because it's okay. It's not great, it's okay. Remember what I say, we're okay with where we are. We are where we are because it's okay with us. Okay? So margarine is okay, butter's better. The taste is better. Doing the scripts and dialogues at the level we're supposed to do them at should get us better results, but we're not pushing it because we're okay with where we are. So what can we do to push beyond that? If in fact we all agree that we could do better, agreed?
Yes.
You guys with me on this?
Yes.
Okay? We could cook queso fundido as well as Bobby Flay, given the exact same recipe and the same equipment. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay? So then therefore, I can be as good as the greatest chef that I think walks around, but if I don't do what he lines out, then I'm probably not going to get what he does. Same rule applies for all these great superstars that have gone before us. So how bad do we want it? How bad do we want it? That's the question. And what can we do as individuals to crank it up a little bit? Everybody should be at the Mike Ferry event on Tuesday morning by 7:30, 7:45. They should be there Wednesday, not Tuesday. Thank you. You should be there early, and you should carpool there, or however you're going to get there. And you should be sitting, and we will, for our company, mark off the front rows, but that doesn't mean you should get there later. It means that you should get there, and that we want to honor and respect you. Okay? May 1st, opportunity today to move forward and really make something happen. Remember what I've told you before. It doesn't matter what you've done prior to May 1st, May 15th, because I've had agents that have joined the company at that time and have focused and done what they're supposed to do over the balance of the year and still hit Centurion. So it's still possible. Still possible. You have to work the recipe. You have to work the formula. What could you do to move yourself out of complacency and into action and work the formula for, let's say not the rest of the year right now. What about just the month of May? What about the month of May? So here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to commit to the days you're going to work. So write this down. The days you're going to work in the month of May. Just commit to that. Commit to the number of hours you're going to prospect in the month of May. Commit to the contacts you're going to make. Commit to the amount of properties you're going to preview and the expired you're going to go visit. How many listing appointments you'll set, and how many listing appointments you'll go on. Decide how many listings you'd like to take. And then let's focus you, with our formula, on the month of May only. Okay? So email me, write it down on a piece of paper, get it to me. I'll help hold you accountable to that. Okay? And then maybe what we could do, for those of you that, I'm going to throw this out at you. For the group that's here and anyone that's online that wants to do this, anyone that gives me those numbers in writing today, email or in person, and accomplishes those numbers in the month of May. So you got to give them to me up front, and then you have to do them in the month of May. And they have to be numbers I accept. Don't write down, I'm going to work one day. Okay? I'm not, no. Okay? I will take you for a margarita and queso fundido at Flay's Basic Grill. And you tell me whether it's great or not. Okay? So we'll have, because I don't know how many people this is going to work for. I'm either going to fill the room up with queso fundido and by the way, the El Tesoro Platinum margaritas are amazing. Okay? So this is cool. Write it down. Make the commitment. Do the activities. Whether you take the listings or not, I'm not going to hold you to that part. I'm only going to hold you to the activity part. Okay?
Can I take a friend?
No, no friends.
I'm going.
You don't go by yourself?
No,
Oh, sorry.
I'm going no matter what.
All right. That'll be fun, right?
Yes.
Okay? All right. Okay. Questions on anything we covered today? Questions on anything we covered? It's a recipe. And we can do the recipe. It's a combination lock. You know what to do. You have to put the lock sequence in the right sequence, the numbers in the right sequence, to open the lock. But it's all there for us. Now let's go out and make May the best month, the month by which all other months are going to be measured. Let's make it happen. Thank you very much.